what's the best line I saw? I don't know how to. Just the best line I saw was, "What's the point of having a Hall of Fame if you don't have the so-called best player in baseball in the Hall of Fame?"
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 450 Dead Center podcast YouTube channel. Chris here with Daniel.
Hello.
Hey. And today, we're talking about Hall of Fame voting because it's rigged.
Yeah, it just happened this weekend, and people got screwed.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of weird how literally every single fan has the exact opposite opinion of the voters. It's strange. Like,
Maybe not every fan, but like a
majority.
good majority. Everyone on Instagram. We're recording this on Wednesday, and the thing happened Tuesday. But everyone,
On Twitter, Instagram, everywhere.
Twitter,
YouTube,
Instagram, Facebook, whatever, YouTube,
MySpace, probably. I don't know.
yeah, MySpace. They all had the same opinion. They were all like, "What's the best line I saw?" I don't know how to. Just the best line I saw was, "What's the point of having a Hall of Fame if you don't have the so-called best player in baseball in the Hall of Fame?"
Yeah, and so-called the best pitcher of all time in the Hall of Fame as well.
Like,
I mean, it's weird, and like we all know the reasons why they're not in the Hall of Fame because they took the horse piss or whatever. But like, so did David Ortiz, so did all these other guys who were in the Hall of Fame. So why are they in, and then why are the other guys not in?
Before we go on our rant, Chris,
Yeah.
make sure everyone hit that subscribe button down below. On the road to 500 subs,
Almost there.
almost there, and drop a like as well.
Yeah,
And let us know your opinions in the comments. And then also want to give a big congratulations to the man, the myth, the legend, David Ortiz for making it in.
Goat, one of the goats. Love David Ortiz.
One of the goats. That
Big
guy
puppy.
was an absolute
J killer.
J killer. That guy was the king of clutch. I don't care what anyone says. That guy was the most clutch performer I've ever seen in my life.
I know, like, how did he do it? Like, every single time, he's just a dinger when he needed it. I don't know.
Yeah. Fun fact, the first live baseball game I went to, first home run I ever saw was David Ortiz hitting one.
Really?
At the Rogers Center. He absolutely smacked it.
Mine was probably a Tampa Bay Rays home run, because apparently I only go to Rays games, so...
Because this guy, he put it, like, opposite field, 200 level back row. Like, he cranked it.
It was just one of the... That was, like, prime Ortiz right there. You're like, if he hits it, it's gone.
That guy was ridiculous, but he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame 100%, and I'm so glad he made it first ballot.
Agreed. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to make it. I'm just saying there's people who are on that ballot who deserve to make it maybe a decade ago. I'm going to be honest right now.
Let's start with the obvious one here. Barry Bonds.
Whew.
Right?
Yep.
I get a lot of people don't like him because he took the steroids and he's kind of the face of it.
See, the thing with the Barry Bonds is, though, is that he never tested positive for the steroids. Like, I mean, the guy's neck blew up like a water balloon, but he never admitted to it, and he never, like, there was never proof of him actually taking it. So, I mean, if there's no proof, put him in. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious he took it. Like,
oh, no, it's 100% obvious, but
it's so
he's not going to
obvious.
go back and admit it now.
No, but I mean, if I can find all the tweets, I'll put the tweets up on screen. But there was a ton of tweets from MLB players today saying
Did you read
that
Stroman's tweet?
it was Stroman had one. I don't remember exactly what he said. He had one. Gosman had one. Alex Wood had one.
And you know what they were all talking about? The exact same thing.
Bond should be in the Hall of Fame. Like,
agreed.
I mean, I'm not even gonna read out his numbers because,
like, the thing is, though, even before he started taking the steroids, like, his numbers were already good enough to be in the Hall of Fame anyway. So like, you can still put him in for those numbers. Like, I mean, his numbers were fantastic, obviously, because he broke pretty much every record. But still,
it's
he was
crazy
good.
to think about that the home run leader is not in the MLB Hall of Fame.
Yep. I mean, you know what's even worse? Like, the helmet that he hit his home run with, I believe the bat that he hit his home run with, and a bunch of other Barry Bonds memorabilia is in Cooperstown, but not himself.
Not him.
Yeah.
And I get it, like, even with all these guys we're talking about, if you want to put an asterisk by their name, put an asterisk by their name. Who cares at this point? Like, he cheated, so what? But, like,
there were so many other players. Yeah, there's so many other
right?
players that are in the Hall of Fame that cheated as well. So it's
Uh,
just a double standard, and I feel like it's also because Barry Bonds was a complete another douche to the writers and all that back in the
Yes,
day,
and
and with the
I think
media.
also he was the face of the steroid campaign. Like when
Yeah,
you
and
think MLB steroids, you think of Bonds. That guy's
yeah, and he
right.
burnt bridges. Let's be honest. Yeah,
But I mean, I think he'll get in for the veterans vote. Is that what it is? Veterans committee? Yeah, I don't know what the
I
other
don't know.
committee is.
That seems like the committee that doesn't want him in.
I apparently I heard he's got a better chance of making it in with them than the writers.
I hope so. I mean, the writers are just completely biased old dudes who like only have one set in stone like mind path, so it's bad.
That's another thing. The writers got to be changed. We got to get rid of these writers. Like
I'll
they
be
are
one.
so out of touch with baseball.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying put me, a 20-year-old, to do the Hall of Fame
I'll
voting. No,
gladly do it. Put me in, Chief.
don't.
Put me in.
I don't claim to be an expert on any of that. But
Hmm.
I mean, like, get a former player to do it who is not going to make it in, who is well respected, right? Like Dustin. I mean, Dustin Pedroia might make it in eventually, but like someone like that.
Hmm. But
Get Prince
even
Fielder to do it.
like even players who are like on the like the player committee right now, like Marcus
Yeah.
Simeon would be a great shout to do it. Like I could see him
Yeah,
being
get
a writer.
active. I guess the only thing is if you get active players to do this, there might be a bias, if they were teammates or whatever.
I mean, like when they were like when Simeon
Yeah.
retires and all that.
That's why you get like a ton of them. That's why I'm saying you get like 600, 500 players to
How
do it.
many are on the voting ballot right now?
I have, I can check right now.
I believe there's a couple, right? I don't remember. But I mean, considering they need 75% of the vote, so there probably has to be what, over 100? I don't remember how old. I don't know how many there are.
I mean, the other thing I want to talk about is these ballots have just been stupid, and it's been all the way back to when was it Jeter or Griffey?
Mm-hmm.
Jeter, yeah, Jeter. When like I get it, a lot of people have a lot of criticism towards Jeter, but like let's be real, in that class Jeter was in, he was a unanimous Hall of Famer by far.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
And the same
I
one
was one.
person didn't vote for him is the same person that kept Ken Griffey from being unanimous, same person that kept Nolan Ryan from being unanimous. Like,
You want to know
this
why
guy
he did
even know
that?
baseball?
It's because he doesn't want there to be a unanimous Hall of Famer. It's all politics, man. It's
It's
bad.
so stupid. I mean, they really gotta rethink this whole.
Like when Mike Trout retires with like arguably the greatest stats of all time, you know what they're gonna do? He's gonna have that one voter not vote him in. It's gonna happen, and it's
It's
because
so.
he's a Dodgers fan.
It says here 333 are on it.
That's actually a lot. Wow. Okay, that's a
I
lot more
think
than
I
I
think
thought.
if I'm reading that number right, it
Like
says
imagine being that one guy out of 333 people who didn't put Jeter as a unanimous
Like,
vote.
I don't know. That just blew my mind, and I get the whole thing's confidential and they don't have to show the ballot, but like,
Please do. Everybody would
I'm
know.
sorry, you need to lose your job at that point. You should nowhere be near baseball if you didn't think in that class Derek Jeter was a unanimous Hall of Famer.
Exactly. And also, I would like to say, remember last year, or was it the year before, that there was no, like, empty ballots. Let me say that. Like, wasn't there a bunch of people who submitted empty ballots for the Hall of
Yeah,
Fame?
several people submitted empty ballots this
If
year, and it's
I
just like,
if you submit an empty ballot, I think you should just be like lose your job right there.
I'm
That's
not
that's
saying
pathetic.
I know you get 10 votes, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to use all the votes. I'm really not. You're
Like
telling me there's not one person on that class that you would vote for.
yeah,
Not
seriously.
one.
Scott Rowland is on the ballot and you
Yeah,
didn't even vote for him in? Like, come on.
even like, I don't know, Mark Burley.
Yeah, seriously. He got
I
what 0.1% of the votes this year? Like, who cares?
even
Just
vote for Mark, but just don't waste your vote. That annoys me the most is when people don't even try. It's like for you going to a test, right? Go to an
good
exam.
analogy. Yeah.
You go to the exam as we're in the middle of midterms almost. Go to an exam. You have no idea what the question is.
Hmm.
So you're either A, gonna leave it and you know you're gonna get 0%, or B, take a guess.
Or at
Worst
least
to worst, you get a 0. Like,
yeah, or
I
at least try
don't
to write something
understand.
funny and the teacher would like
Yeah,
get pity on you or something. And also another good analogy for that is just like for an election or something.
yeah,
If you don't vote on for anything and you complain, you have no right to complain because you didn't vote. So
exactly.
like that's just I don't know. I hate the MLB ballot. It's so rigged. It's one of the reasons
You're
why
right, it is all
the sport is
politics.
so laughed upon. It's bad.
They need to fix it. I think it starts by changing this whole writers committee.
I
It
agree.
really does.
I agree.
I
Like,
think I think
why
you do
isn't the
have to
new
have
writers
75%.
committee in the
I don't know.
the
And the thing is,
CBA
you don't
talks?
hear about this with any other sport. You don't hear about it with hockey. You don't hear about it with football. You don't hear
Mm-hmm.
about it with basketball.
Just
But why
baseball.
baseball? Why
Because
baseball?
baseball is trapped in the what 80s, 90s. It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, some other players that notably missed out yesterday that were their final years. Roger Clemens
What a joke.
missed out. Kurt Schilling missed out on his final year.
Joke.
Sammy Sosa missed out on his final year.
And I mean, I mean, it's still a joke. He's good though.
No, but like, I get it. These guys took steroids. That's the past. Just move on at this
90,
point.
like what percentage of the league took steroids when they were playing? That was just part of baseball at that point. That I mean, baseball didn't try to prevent it back then. Like their steroid tests back in the day
They
were
had
like,
fun. They had fun. So they didn't like complain when they were making money off them.
oh yeah, you're right, you're right. Their baseball was
Right?
at what the peak in the early 2000s right there. Like they were going like the Sammy
The home
Sosa
run
Barry
race
Bonds home run
between
race. Like
it was Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire home run race.
what was whatever.
But Bonds was the yeah.
2001 was it 2001? I don't remember. But yeah, the home run race. Like come on, like what are they doing?
That is, you had no problem selling Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, Kurt Schilling, Barry Bonds jerseys. So why?
And like, well, let me say it again. Barry Bonds' helmet and probably bat are in the Hall of Fame. Why isn't he?
They need to change it. I have no idea what the even first step would be. I think it'd be get rid of the writers. I think you have to find a new system that votes if it's active players, if it's a retired player committee.
Why can't
If
it
it's
be a mix of like both? That's the. I think that'd be okay.
You really could. You really could. I mean, we're also talking about the same MLB that fired was it Ken Rosenthal because he spoke out against Rob Manfred,
Yeah. So yeah.
right? Like,
I mean, he was
this.
Rob Manfred was probably the one who didn't vote Jeter in. He was probably that one guy.
Oh, what a.
Yeah. All right. I think it's a good time to wrap this
Yeah,
up. We
I think
expressed
that's a
our
good point to wrap
opinions.
up.
Yeah. If you guys express the same opinions that we do, let us know in the comments section down below. We're just talking baseball here. No, we don't hate the writers. We just don't think they do their job well. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye.